Good evening and welcome to the news tonight, your one stop for the day's top stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi and let's start with the headlines. BJP's economic resolution focuses on demonetization. Party executive calls it a historic step to contain black money, terror, fake currency note racket and insurgency. In Uttar Pradesh, warring factions of the Samajwadi Party fails to reach a truce. Akhilesh Yadav camp starts work on election manifesto while the BSP releases a third list of candidates. Cold wave conditions intensify in North India. Showers and snowfall, lower temperatures in Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Himachal and Kashmir, while the Srinagar-Jammu national highway remains closed. And a gunman goes on a rampage inside a Florida airport, killing 5 people and injuring 8. Arrested suspect has been identified as a former armyman. Top story. Speaking at the BJP National Executive, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke about the need for greater transparency in political funding. He also called for a consensus among political parties on the issue. He also urged delegates not to put pressure on the party for giving tickets to their relatives. Briefing the media on PM Modi's speech, Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the Prime Minister observed very significantly the need to make our political process more transparent.
The Prime Minister referred to the tradition of India with reference to various ills of the country. There is a unique feature of Indian society that the determination to fight against the ills comes from the inner strength of the society of India. ये जो करेंसी का अनियंत्रित विस्तार होता है, ये भ्रष्टाचार की सबसे बड़ी जननी होती है और भ्रष्टाचार भी अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा अभिशाप है, बुराई है.
Well, the BJP released its economic resolution at the party's national executive meeting on Saturday. The resolution called demonetization a sacred movement, during which it said that the masses accepted the temporary suffering with enthusiasm. It also asserted that black money had now been deposited in banks, which will lead to higher revenues and bigger and cleaner GDP. The resolution passed on the concluding day of the party's national executive accused the opposition of trying to defame the government by destroying the country's positive environment. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley claimed that the money had come into bank accounts will boost developmental projects. The resolution said that demonetization was necessary for decimating the parallel economy of black money and for the smooth functioning of the GST in near future.
Income or revenue of the state badi hai, except maybe Bengal. क्योंकि मध्य प्रदेश हो, उत्तर प्रदेश हो, हरियाणा हो, महाराष्ट्र हो, सभी जगह रेवेन्यू जनरेशन इन नवंबर हैज नॉट सफर्ड. हिम्मत और स्टैमिना के साथ इस सरकार काम करके ये डिमोनेटाइजेशन के प्रोग्राम ले आए और उसमें अंत में 50 दिन के बाद आर्थिक और सामाजिक दृष्टिकोण से जिन जिन वर्गों को राहत मिलना है उनको प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कुछ एक्सटेंड भी किया.
But upping the ante against the NDA government and the Prime Minister on the issue of demonetization, the Congress today held protests at district headquarters at several places in the country. The main opposition party has also put forward many demands, such as an income tax and sales tax rebate of 50% for small shopkeepers and businesses and a compensation of 25,000 rupees for women who have been hit hard by demonetization. The party will also hold a national convention on the 11th of this month in New Delhi that is expected to be attended by workers and leaders from across the country.
नोटबंदी के बाद 2 महीने के बाद आज भी पूरा देश में लोग परेशानी है. जब तक लोग दुखी हैं, हमारा आंदोलन जारी रहेगा.
धन हमारा और आदेश आपका नहीं चलेगा. इसलिए सरकार को पैसा जो विड्रा करने की है वो पावर जो रेस्ट्रिक्ट की है उसको विड्रा की जाए और आप जो पैसा रेस्ट्रिक्ट कर रहे हो बैंक में, तो जिन बैंक होल्डर्स का पैसा आप रोक रहे हो उन्हें 18% का ब्याज दिया जाए.
And now let's head on to Uttar Pradesh, where hectic parleys resumed on Saturday as the warring factions of the Samajwadi Party tried to reach a truce. However, there was no visible respite. Meanwhile, the Chief Minister's camp has started preparing the manifesto, which will firmly focus on rural and urban youth.
The battle between the father-son duo of the Samajwadi Party shows no signs of letting up. Lucknow saw a spate of meetings take place as the warring factions tried to work out a truce formula acceptable to both Mulayam and Akhilesh. The Akhilesh Yadav faction of the Samajwadi Party has almost given up on the possibility of reconciliation and has now started preparing for the assembly elections.
सिंबल का जो मामला है वो चुनाव आयोग के सामने है और 100% वो सिंबल समाजवादी पार्टी को अखिलेश यादव जी की राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्षता में मिलेगा। उसी के आधार पर चुनाव लड़ना है। हम लोग चुनाव की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और बहुत जल्दी ही फील्ड में आपको चुनाव का सारा काम शुरू होते हुए नजर आएगा। सारे प्रत्याशियों को क्षेत्रों में भेजा जा चुका है, तो इसमें कोई सुलह सफाई का मामला नहीं है।
Meanwhile, Mayawati announced BSP's third list of candidates for 100 more assembly seats on Saturday, but she also took pot shots at the ongoing tussle within the Samajwadi Party.
प्रदेश की जनता को गुमराह करने के लिए आए दिन इस्तेमाल किए जा रहे किस्म किस्म के हथकंडों से भी सावधान करने के लिए ये बैठक बुलाई गई है, ताकि फिर यहाँ उत्तर प्रदेश में बीएसपी की अकेले ही पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार बनाई जा सके।
The BJP, on the other hand, accuses Samajwadi Party of trying to divert attention from its failures. The party says it will fight assembly polls on the development plank of the Narendra Modi government. Congress, however, still hopes for a truce but signals support to Akhilesh Yadav.
संगठन के माध्यम से पहले भी चुनाव की पूरी तैयारी हमारी हो चुकी है और अब उनका एक धड़ा है, दो धड़ा है, इससे कोई फर्क बीजेपी को नहीं पड़ने वाला है। अभी जो इसका कोई प्रभाव नहीं है और पहले भी हमारे राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व ने कह रखा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो चीफ मिनिस्टर है वो कमल का फूल है। हम चुनाव लड़ेंगे और चुनाव जीतेंगे।
कांग्रेस पार्टी के बारे में हमेशा मुख्यमंत्री श्री अखिलेश यादव बयानबाजी करते रहे हैं और अभी हमारे हाईकमान का क्या फैसला होगा तो नहीं हम कह सकते, लेकिन जिस तरह की चर्चा चल रही है उसमें अखिलेश यादव अगर कोई प्रस्ताव लेके जाते हैं तो उस पर शायद सोचा जाए, लेकिन अभी तक तो हम 403 सीटों की लड़ने की तैयारी कर रहे हैं।
Akhilesh Yadav's uncle and close confidant Ram Gopal Yadav has claimed that a majority of Samajwadi legislators back the chief minister, so he is the rightful claimant for the party symbol. Mulayam's group too is expected to hand the poll panel affidavits of its supporters. The election commission will then decide which faction will get the old Samajwadi election symbol, the cycle.
Endeavours to forge a truce between the warring factions of the Samajwadi Party have escalated since the declaration of poll dates. But there are little chances of any breakthrough. The question is, will both Akhilesh and Mulayam end up paying a heavy price for the family tussle? Reporting from Lucknow, with camera person Shiv Kumar, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Meanwhile, in the national capital, Ram Gopal Yadav submitted signed documents by the Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav supporters in the Election Commission office late on Saturday night after a delay of one day.
MP, MLC और सारे पदाधिकारी अखिलेश यादव के साथ हैं और इसीलिए इसी आधार पर आज हमने सारे 74 जिलों से डेलीगेट्स के इंडिविजुअल एफिडेविट दिए हैं। लगभग 1.5 लाख पन्नों में आपने देखा होगा कि 7 कार्टून्स में ले गए हम और वहां रिसीव करा दिए हैं कागज।
All right, for more on the developments that are, of course, taking place, what to expect perhaps by tomorrow, because on Monday, of course, is when both sides are to approach the EC. Kriti Mishra joining us now live from Lucknow. Kriti, give us an idea of the very fact that Ram Gopal Yadav has, of course, gone there, in Delhi and submitted those affidavits, and that is significant, definitely, especially for the Akhilesh camp.
Well, that's right. Chances of a reconciliation look bleak at the moment. In fact, after Ram Gopal Yadav submitted affidavits, hectic preparations are on here in Lucknow. party insiders and confidants of Chief Minister. They've informed me today that they have already started working on party manifesto. Now, Akhilesh is trying to woo rural voters, young voters, as well as urban voters. So the highlight of the manifesto is going to be smartphones. In fact, Akhilesh Yadav's government, it already started registering people for the distribution of smartphone. His manifesto is also going to talk about Lucknow Metro, Lucknow Agra Expressway, ambulance service, and insurance services for the farmers. So definitely Akhilesh Yadav is all out to woo the voters, and the camp of Akhilesh Yadav is in fact ready. In many districts, posters have also come up with probable candidates on one side and Chief Minister on the other. So it looks that Samajwadi Party is standing on the brink of split.
All right. And also, are the so-called cadres, are the cadres in fact being told, and are they speaking to voters about the possibility of the Akhilesh camp really fighting on a different temporary symbol, a temporary party name? Is that the possibility that they are prepared for now?
Well, that's right, because a lot of experts are saying that the Election Commission might freeze the symbol and the name of the party. So, in fact, Akhilesh is propagating this idea that his team might have to work with a new symbol, with a new name. So, a very tech-savvy social media team they've prepared so that they can permeate and propagate this entire new concept of the interim symbol, of the ad hoc name. So, the entire team is working on these lines that if Election Commission freezes the symbol, then they'll have to go out for this new war. Over to you, Tracy.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Kriti, thanks so much for joining us for the moment on this story. In other news, the budget session of Parliament will begin on the 31st of January, a day before the Union budget is likely to be presented. According to an official notification, President Pranab Mukherjee has summoned the Rajya Sabha to meet on the 31st of January. A similar notification is also expected from the Lok Sabha Secretariat. Earlier, the Election Commission sought the centre's response on the opposition's objection to presenting the budget on the 1st of February, right before the Assembly polls to 5 states. Chief Election Commissioner Naseem Zaidi has written to the Cabinet Secretary P.K. Sinha seeking the response. The Cabinet Secretary has been asked to respond by the 10th of January. However, the Prime Minister said during his speech to the BJP National Executive this evening that the budget will be presented on the 1st of February as planned. And here are more national news updates in Nationwide. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister O. Pannirselvam wrote to his Andhra Pradesh counterpart highlighting a deficient weak northeast monsoon and meagre storage in city reservoirs. He sought personal intervention in the matter for the immediate release of Krishna waters. The water level in Chennai's reservoirs is very low and the storage currently available is not enough to meet drinking water supply requirements. Meghalaya independent legislator Julius K. Dorphang, who is wanted in a case of sexual exploitation of a 14-year-old girl, was arrested in Guwahati on Friday night. Dorphang was brought to Shillong after his arrest. Meghalaya police issued a lookout notice to nab the absconding legislator in the case, and on the 4th of January, a local court issued a non-bailable arrest warrant against him, following which the manhunt began. A Delhi court on Saturday issued a fresh non-bailable warrant against British national Christian Michel, the alleged middleman in the Augusta Westland chopper deal. The court issued the warrant as the accused failed to appear before it on Saturday. The next hearing is scheduled for the 22nd of February. Normal life in Kashmir was disrupted on Saturday as separatists resumed their shutdown against the killing of Burhan Wani. Markets remained shut and armed security personnel manned the largely deserted streets amid moderate rain and snowfall in Srinagar. And speaking of snowfall, cold wave conditions intensified further in North India after a fresh spell of moderate snowfall and rains. Normal life was thrown out of gear as the Kashmir Valley received its heaviest snowfall this season. Operations on the Srinagar International Airport were also suspended and all flights remained cancelled for the day. In fact, a medium danger avalanche warning was issued for the next 24 hours for areas located above 2,800 meters in North Kashmir. Despite the inconvenience, though, residents and tourists in the valley and also Himachal Pradesh are enjoying the very first snowfall of the season. We're taking a quick break, leaving you with that.
जो मैंने पहले सुना था कि सही माने में कश्मीर जन्नत है, अगर दुनिया में है तो आज सही में वैसा लग रहा है, मैं फील कर रहा हूँ।
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत पहली बार ऐसा फील कर रहे हैं, बहुत ऑसम है ये। और लकी है कि आज हुई बर्फबारी, वरना हम आज मिस कर जाते।
बर्फबारी बहुत अच्छी लग रही है, इसके लिए कश्मीरी भी तरस रहे थे।
How to take this IIT into the elite. More importantly, we want to go to the global rankings. If we cannot excel ourselves, why should the best in the world will come and collaborate with us? And there, I think, we are rapidly progressing. When you think of science, don't just think of what you see. Think of what is there beyond that.
Watch Eureka with Professor S.K. Das, Director, IIT Ropar on Rajya Sabha Television.
The art of painting comes to us from the prehistoric period. Paintings are also a valuable source of information about their age. Like this depiction of the wedding procession of Dara Shikoh. The eldest son of Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan had a Mughal wedding with distinctive Indian elements. Like the veil he wears to the pomp and show of the Bharat in Hindu weddings.
Talks on Saturday and signed 6 agreements, including an important MOU on defence cooperation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Costa addressed a joint press conference after their talks. The Prime Minister thanked Costa for his country's support for India's bid for permanent membership of the United Nations Security Council and membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. Prime Minister also said that the expansion and deepening of trade, investment and business partnerships is a priority for both India and Portugal.
Expansion and deepening of trade, investment and business partnerships between our two countries is our shared priority. Areas of infrastructure, waste and water management, solar and wind energy, and innovation are full of opportunities to build strong commercial ties. The MOU on defense cooperation signed today will help us harness our respective strengths in this field for mutual benefit.
A U.S. intelligence report claimed that Russian President Vladimir Putin sought to help Donald Trump win the presidential election held in November last year. The unclassified report said that the Russian leader ordered a campaign aimed at influencing the election. The report also claimed that Russia's goals were to undermine public faith in the U.S. democratic process and denigrate Democrat opponent Hillary Clinton. There is no reaction from Moscow just as yet, but Russia has denied such claims in the past. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump said that hacking by foreign powers did not affect the final outcome of the presidential election. He rather blamed the Democratic Party for allowing Russian hackers to breach its computer systems. Staying with the U.S., another mass shooting incident took place yesterday at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. A suspected Army veteran has been charged with a shooting that left 5 people dead and 8 wounded. Authorities are now probing all angles to understand the motive behind the incident.
At least 5 people were killed and 8 others injured in a shooting incident at the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. The second largest airport in South Florida serves as an intercontinental gateway. A 26-year-old army veteran, identified as Esteban Santiago, reportedly opened fire in Terminal 2 of the baggage area. Florida Governor Rick Scott assured speedy justice in the incident.
We'll never tolerate things like this in our state. Whoever is responsible, we'll do everything we can to hold them accountable. We will never let anybody off the hook. We'll hold them accountable to the full extent of the law.
According to authorities, Santiago reached Fort Lauderdale on Friday afternoon on a connecting flight from Alaska. He retrieved a 9mm semi-automatic handgun from his checked luggage and started firing indiscriminately. Federal investigators are pursuing all angles to determine the motive.
Investigation not only here in South Florida, but in several other states as we try to pursue the suspect's activities leading up to today's horrific incident.
Santiago reportedly served from 2007 to 2016 in the Puerto Rico National Guard and the Alaska National Guard. He was also deployed in Iraq from 2010 to 2011. Last year, he was discharged from the Alaska Army National Guard due to his unsatisfactory performance. He is currently undergoing treatment for mental health issues. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are more international news updates in Global Buzz. Pakistan's military courts that were established after the Army public school attack in Peshawar were discontinued from today. The courts were established through a constitutional amendment after the horrendous attack in Peshawar on the 16th of December 2014. The courts were set up to enforce speedy trial of hardcore militants after the deadly Taliban attack that killed nearly 150 children. Pakistan's former military chief, General Raheel Sharif, was named the head of the 39-nation Islamic military coalition to combat terrorism. Sharif retired as army chief in November and has been succeeded by General Qamar Javed Bajwa. The Saudi Arabia-led 39-nation military alliance was formed last year to combat terrorism. At least 12 people were killed after heavy rains caused severe flooding in southern Thailand. Hundreds of thousands of people were affected as water levels reached roof-high in some areas and submerged many villages. The flash floods also damaged hundreds of schools and toppled power cables. Thai Navy is helping out with the rescue and relief operations. A French background check of passengers and crew aboard Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, which mysteriously disappeared in 2014, has found no cause for suspicion. France has opened its own investigation into the disappearance because 4 French nationals were among the 227 passengers and 12 crew on board the flight. MH370 disappeared en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing on the 8th of March 2014. And finally, let's get you all the latest from the world of sports in Sports Beat. The Indian doubles pair of Divij Sharan and Purav Raja reached the final of the Chennai Open after beating second-seeded Argentinian duo of Guillermo Duran and Andre Molteni in straight sets. The pair won 6-4, 6-2 and will meet the winner of the second semi-final between India's Rohan Bopanna and N. Jeevan and the American-Kiwi team of Nicholas Monroe and Artem Sitak. World number 1 Andy Murray will face defending champion Novak Djokovic in the Qatar Open final. Murray beat third-seeded Thomas Berdych in the semis 6-4, 6-3, while Djokovic overcame the challenge from Spaniard Fernando Verdasco. The world number 2 survived 5 match points before winning 4-6, 7-6, 6-3. Manchester City thrashed West Ham 5-0 in the third round of the FA Cup, inflicting the heaviest defeat to their Premier League rival in the tournament. City took a 3-0 lead at half-time thanks to an own goal from West Ham and goals from Yaya Toure and David Silva. Aguero and Stones then added 2 more in the second half to complete City's rout. Australia defeated Pakistan by 220 runs in the third test in Sydney to sweep the series 3-0. Pakistan were bowled out for 244 while chasing a target of 465 runs. Batsman Josh Hazlewood and spinner Steve O'Keefe claimed 3 wickets each. For Pakistan, wicketkeeper Sarfaraz Ahmed top scored with an unbeaten score of 72. That's all we have for you on the news tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.